Alright, you're back with the Canologist. Another day, another Leetcode. Let's go to add binary. As usual, delete this. Boom. Okay, given two binary strings and B sum. Return their sum as a binary string. Okay. So input A is a binary string, so that's to the power 0, to the power 1, to the power 0. So 0 is to the power 0, to the power 1. To the power 2 is 4. To the power of 0 is 1. To the power of 1 is 2. So this is 3, 1, 1. And then plus 1 is 4. Can't be less than 1 length. Okay, so you're at least going to get a string that is 1 character long. A and B consist of only 0 and 1s. Each string does not contain leading zeros except for the 0 itself. Okay. How do I go about doing this? Let's try this. Convert binary to decimal in Python. Binary to decimal. I could figure out the length of the second one and just add them. Add zeros. So what I want to do first is, in order to add something simply, I need to make sure the strings are the same length. So, for example, let's look at this. So if len A greater than len B, if it's greater than, how would I add it? Or should I just focus on converting it first and then turning it into a thing? It's just adding binary. Okay, so what do I do to add these? So first I gotta go 0. It can only be 0 and 1. Second thing, each string does not contain leading zeros except for the 0 itself. Third thing is if it has to be a minimum of 1 character long. Let's look at a hint. Are there hints here? Company tags. Oh, they got solutions too. I'm going to create a separate function, def, and then we call it calculate calc bin calculate binary. It's going to have a self and then it's going to have the string. Let's put word for string. So self string, so equals 0. For I in len, word so len word minus 1. So if I'm at length of the number, it's going to be that minus 1. So n is going to be actually first I want to determine what my power is going to be. My greatest power is going to be so the exponent is going to be exponent is going to be the length of this minus 1, and then it's going to be sum equals 0 while the x speed is greater than 0. Then we need an iterator. So if it's just 1, it's 2 to the power 0. Right, so anything to the power 0 is 1. The xp is greater than 0. exp len word -1. So first I gotta find the exponent. You exponents, so multiply value to exponents in Python. So it's going to be word xp times, because it's either going to be 0 or 1 times and that's going to be times 3 to the power of, so it's going to be 2 to the power of exp. Sum plus equals. So word at the exponent. So the exponent is both the index and the power, because the first element is 0 and it's going to be 1 minus 1 is 0. So once we have this, we get our updated sum, and then we return sum. And then we'll call it des a for decimal a is called bin a. To make this an integer, because I'm going to times it, return it. Total equals decimal a plus decimal b. Now we got to convert it back to binary. So I have to use some sort of a while loop and a function, because one way to do it is you figure out what number of binary is greater than the total. If it's greater, it can't be that, so it's got to be one less, then you minus it. So let's see, I'm kind of stuck now, because now I've got to figure out where to return the number. So I have my binary number now, my decimal number added. Now I'm going to convert it back into binary. Using a built-in function. Function to convert decimal number into binary. Zero B what thing? Okay. Bin 10 and then you get rid of the 0B. Okay. So what I want to do is, where is this, the built-in function? Is that why they did this? So replace. So bin n. So all you have to do is this, return. So binary or result equals bin total dot replace 0b, because this is what happens when you get a binary number. You get you gotta replace OB with an empty string. Then you return the result. Return result. And this has the extrapolated. So I extracted all this logic, put it here, and then extract all this, put it there. Run. See if it does what it's intended to do. Deck A takes exactly 2 arguments, 1 given. Calc bin takes exactly 2 arguments. Okay, what if I just do word? Run. Time limit exceeded. Okay, so let's see what's going wrong with this. Let's plug it into ChatGPT. Let's just say instructions. And then my code. So let's see what we get here. On the right track, but there's a couple of issues. The binary decimal conversions is attempting to convert a binary string into a decimal, but it has a couple of issues. Okay, so it starts with exp. exponent len word minus 1, which is correct for the most significant bit, but the while loop exp is greater than 0 will skip the least significant bit. I see. Let's do this then. Zero, 1, 2. So all it does is replace this. Convert decimal song back to binary string result. Okay. So I could just go 2 onwards. So 0, 1, 2, because we skipped the first 3 characters. That's fine. What do you recommend I do here then? So length of the word minus 1, some char. For char in word. Oh, all they do is just go exp minus 1 for char in word, so it just iterates over the word. Greater than or equal to 0. This should still work. The thing is, why is it taking so long? Time limit exceeded again. Okay, let's try the for loop method. Maybe it's like a broken while loop, because it uses the exact same thing I'm doing here, word exp char, except in this case they're going through each element of the word. So let's do it like that. Let's do it like that. So for word in word. For char, so for item in word, int item. So it's the exact same thing. It's the exact same logic. So in this case, we're taking out the potential of this not working. So let's try now. What? So this case 1, 2. Int char exp minus 1. Oh, I have to go exp minus 1. My bad. So, because now I'm not in the while loop anymore, so I have to actually decrement my exponent. This should work. Exactly. See, my logic was correct. There's just something with the while loop that was off. Let me also try this. Dot place 0 b. I'm just curious because this is my original code. I just want to see what's going on. So I had int word 0b with this. So this tells you that it's binary. Okay, so you can't actually use that. What if it's 0b? Let's try that. I'm just curious as to how it's written. Yeah, see, it's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. So you could either use replace or you could use a slice of an array by going from 0, 1, 2, because it starts with 0b for your binary and the rest of the binary string. So here I used replace. ChatGPT solution was to do this. Start at element 2, so it goes 0, 1, 2, so you skip 0b, goes to the rest of the string. So if you run it again, it'll do this, it'll work. And you're ready to submit. It's probably doing some super long ones, so it beats 46.6% of the solution, so it works. So let's just do a quick recap of what went on here. So I have my binary and decimal in my head. Okay, so right now we get 2 binary strings, A and B, right? I created a calculate bin function, so calculate binary. So basically it uses the exception as both the exponent, not exception. It uses the exponent len of n, length of the word minus 1. So this gives me the, because your exponents start at 0 and so does an array. Right, so all I have to do is check the length of the array and then minus 1 to get the max exponent, because exponents start from 0, and then as you go through the array, the exponent raises by 1. So it's in line with the array. So I can go length minus 1 gives me the max exponent. Length minus 1 also gives me the last item in the array, right? Then I have a sum, because I want to figure out what each binary string sum is for all the decimal values that you're adding. So it's 111, right? So I'm going to add 2 to the power 0, 2 to the power 1, 2 to the power 2. So that's like 2 to the power 0, 2 to the power 1, 2 to the power 2, that's 5, 6, 2 to the power 0 is 7. Yeah, so that's 111. 111 is 7, right? So I'm doing that with the sum here. So for item in word, this loop basically goes from left to right. So I'm starting with the greatest possible number on the left, because the binary string works backwards. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So at this point, the starting point is where the exponent is the largest, the most significant bit. So it'll be item, so that's either going to be 0 or a 1, but it's going to be a string because this word is in string form. So I have to typecast it to an integer, so to get whether it's 0 or 1, and then I have to multiply it by the exponent, so 2 to the power of whatever. If it's 2 to the power of, let's say, 8, right? So 2, let's just show you on here, 2 to the power of 8 equals 256. So 2 to the power of 8 is 256. If this integer is 0, you're only going to add 0 to the sum. If this integer is 1, then you're going to add 256 to the sum. So that could severely change. So that's why I have to typecast this to an integer and then multiply it, which would affect the sum's output. Then I move on, because it's a for loop, it's going to go to the next element. But it's going to the next element, I have to make sure I'm tracking the exponent as well. So now I'm going to add the next exponent. So most significant bit, let's say it's 8. Now it's going to be 7. So I have to reduce it by 1. All the way until the last element, which is going to be 0. So once I get that, I take that sum value for A, and I stick it in decimal A. So I called it dec A. This is what I named the character, so I could kind of understand what I'm doing with it. I'm taking a variable that's originally a binary string, and I'm converting it into a decimal value of that. So decimal value of A, I use the function. I do the same thing for B. Then I add the 2 decimal values. So now I get the total decimal value. Then I go to result. So result, the good thing with Python is that it has a built-in binary converter. This challenge doesn't specify that you have to do it from scratch. So what I'm going to do is just a simple way. I just take the built-in binary conversion tool. I stick the decimal value that I got from total, and it spits out the binary value as a string. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't give me the exact binary value. It comes with a 0B at the start. So that's why I have to do this. So let me show you in Python Playground. So I got a code playground. Let's say, let's call this word equals, or let's call it tote. Let's call it tote the way it is in here. Let's type in this is my number. I want to convert it to binary. So let's call it binary val is equal to bin tote, because it's a built-in function. Then I just print out my binary val. So you see here, this is the number in binary, but it comes with a 0B at the start. This tells you that it's a binary value. So what I want to do now is take this binary value, and I want to get rid of the 0B, which is what I'm going to do in my solution here. So what I'm going to do in my solution is I'm just going to go start, because this whole thing is an array output because it's a string. It's a string output. So I'm going to do is start at index 2. So if I look here where the cursor is, 0, 1, 2. So I start here and I go to the end. So I ignore the first two characters. So okay, I'm going to leave this bin val. And I'm going to show you what happens when I use bin val the way we did in the solution. 2 to the end. So if I go index 2 to the end, this should now print the exact same line underneath this line without the 0b. Boom. And there you have it. You have your binary value converted from this total value using the built-in bin function. So if I go back to here, I take my binary value, I store it in result, and I just return the result. So if we go to the test case, output's 100, expected is 100. So that's how you solve this question in the simplest way possible. I'm sure there's better ways, but for simplicity purposes, I just want to show you guys that you can leverage the built-in functions of Python to solve a question. Like, I didn't even know how to do the binary thing from scratch. Like, it would have taken me an hour to look up solutions, different ways on Reddit, Stack Overflow. Instead, I just took the smart way out, and then I just looked up, is there a built-in function to convert binary? And I finished the problem in under an hour, under 30 minutes, right? So yeah, keep watching these to figure out more tips and tricks on how to solve these algorithms questions. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. As usual, if you have any comments or suggestions for me in these videos, please don't hesitate to add your feedback to the comments. And hopefully I'll see you along for the next videos that I'll be making, and I'm going to gradually go up to from easy to mediums and hards later on. So if you enjoy the content, once again, like and subscribe. I'll see you soon. Knologist out.